Shilo Sanders wanted to set himself apart from Deion Sanders and distance himself from his brother Shedeur. For the first time in his football career, Shilo Sanders is stepping into a season without the constant presence of his iconic last name, overshadowing his every move as a new member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he's enjoying the peace. The safety is not only adjusting to the NFL, but also carving out space to define himself beyond the reach of his father. Deion coached Prime Sanders, who was his boss at the Colorado Buffaloes, where he also played alongside his brother Shedeur during high school to college. Shilo's football path has been closely intertwined with his family, but now he gets the chance to break away as the dynamic shifts with his transition to the professional game. "I love it," Shilo said in a vlog on his YouTube channel. "I was on my own when I went to South Carolina." The clarity in his voice suggested this wasn't a difficult transition. Instead, it marked something he had long been seeking: independence. And as he alludes to, it isn't the first time Shilo has been away from home. He initially left the family fold when he began his college career at the University of South Carolina, before eventually making the switch to Jackson State and then Colorado. So he was being forced to switch from his family home, the latter being his family reunion with his father and brother. That desire for space is not rooted in estrangement, but in autonomy, as he acknowledged the value of new environments and fresh relationships, pointing to Tampa as fertile ground for building his identity beyond familial expectations. For a player who has long been perceived in the context of his lineage, this next phase offers him the chance to compete and be recognized on his own terms as a professional athlete making his own way to a potential Super Bowl game. Who do the Bucs play in Week 1? Are Tampa Bay at home. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers come into the 2025/26 NFL season looking to improve on a 10-7 record that saw them win the NFC South despite the impact of losing Chris Godwin in Week 7. For most of his life, Shilo Sanders lived under a name that didn't belong solely to him. The name Sanders carried the shine of legacy. Deion lit, bold, and bigger than any one person. It was Deion's name, prime time, the Hall of Famer, the icon. And, more recently, it became Shedeur's name too, the golden arm quarterback lighting up college football headlines with swagger and stats. Shilo, he was there, the safety, the other Sanders. But there wasn't enough anymore. He loved his father. He respected Shedeur. But somewhere between tackles and film sessions, between the social media spotlights and the ever-growing shadow of the Sanders brand, Shilo began to realize something. He wanted his own narrative. Not a footnote, not a supporting character, a headline, a story no one could mistake for anyone else's. The decision, it started quietly, as most important revolutions do, in thought. While others were chasing nil deals and draft boards, Shilo was watching film not of his own games, but of defenders who'd carved legacies without a famous name. Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, Brian Dawkins. Their passion burned through the screen. Their hits weren't just tackles, they were statements. Shilo saw something in their intensity, something he didn't see in himself yet. Freedom. They played like nobody expected them to be anything except who they were. He started journaling. Not just plays or notes from meetings, but ideas, identity, what it meant to be Shilo, what it meant to not be Deion's son for a moment, not be Shedeur's brother, not the guy in sunglasses and interviews talking trash with a grin, but the guy who didn't need to talk, who let his play scream. The break then came the meeting, not with coaches, not with scouts, with Deion. They sat alone in a quiet room where the cameras didn't reach. The air was thick, not with tension, but with truth waiting to be said. "I love you, Dad," Shilo began, "but I need people to see me as more than just your son." Deion leaned back, thoughtful, quiet for once. "I've always told y'all to be yourselves," he said. "You feel like you're not? I feel like I've never really had the chance to find out." Deion nodded. "Then go find out. But don't do it to prove me wrong. Do it to prove yourself right." That was all Shilo needed. Reinvention. The transformation wasn't cosmetic. It was internal. Shilo began training differently. He studied not just how to hit, but how to lead. He mentored freshmen not because the cameras were on, but because that's who he wanted to be. Someone respected for substance, not flash. Off the field, He pulled away from the viral circus. He didn't stop being entertaining, he just stopped being predictable. He turned down a few media appearances, declined a branded campaign that didn't align with who he was trying to become. He started a podcast, not about sports, but about purpose. He invited athletes who'd carved paths without the spotlight. He talked about identity, faith, legacy, and for the first time, fans started using the words thoughtful and Shilo Sanders in the same sentence. It felt good.